The underestimation, the great hall of the Galactic Council, buzzed with quiet conversation as representatives from 12 different worlds took their seats. The massive chamber, carved from a single crystal formation, gleamed under the artificial suns that lit the space station orbiting Nexus Prime. Council leader Vex, his blue skin shimmering under the lights, called the session to order. His forearms gestured gracefully as he spoke. Today, we discuss the newest species to catch our attention. The beings from the third planet of System Sol 3, which they call Earth. Ambassador Cole stood from his seat in the warrior section. That representative towered over most other species, his gray skin marked with ritual scars that told of countless battles. "I have reviewed the data extensively," he announced in his deep voice. "These humans are remarkably weak." The holographic display in the center of the chamber flickered to life, showing images of Earth and its inhabitants. Humans walked through their cities, unaware they were being watched from across the galaxy. "Look at them," Cole continued, pointing at the display. "They have no natural armor, no claws, no poison glands. Their teeth are flat and useless for combat. They cannot even survive in space without bulky artificial suits." Dr. Rin, a council's chief scientist, stepped forward on her 6 legs. Her compound eyes reflected the holographic light as she added her observations. "Their technology is primitive by our standards. They still burn chemical fuels to leave their planet's surface. Most of their energy comes from burning ancient organic matter." Several council members chuckled at this. The idea of burning things for energy seemed absurdly backward to species that had mastered fusion and antimatter centuries ago. "Furthermore," Dr. Rin continued, "they appear to fight among themselves constantly. Our monitors detect explosions and conflicts across their entire planet. They seem incapable of unity." Council leader Vex nodded thoughtfully. "This matches the pattern we have seen with hundreds of developing species. They will need guidance and protection. The standard protocol was well established. New species like this would be offered junior membership in the Galactic Council. They would be relocated to agricultural worlds where they could contribute to food production while slowly learning galactic civilization. It was a system that had worked perfectly for thousands of years." "I suggest we offer them the usual package," said Ambassador Nera, her golden skin glowing softly as she spoke. The Veal were known for their peaceful nature and diplomatic skills. Agricultural colony rights, basic technology transfers, and gradual integration over 50 years. The other representatives murmured agreement. This seemed like the most reasonable approach for such an obviously primitive species. But Senior Advisor Moore, the oldest member of the council, raised a concern. His ancient voice carried the weight of 1,000 years of experience. "Has anyone actually visited their world? Sometimes long-range observations can be misleading." Ambassador Cole scoffed. "With respect, Senior Advisor, what could we possibly miss? They are barely above the Stone Age by galactic standards." "Perhaps," Moore replied carefully, "but I have lived long enough to know that assumptions can be dangerous. I recommend a proper diplomatic mission." Council leader Vex considered this. Standard procedure did not require direct contact for such primitive species, but Senior Advisor Moore's wisdom was respected throughout the galaxy. "Very well," Vex decided. "Ambassador Cole, you will lead a diplomatic team to Earth, make contact with their leaders, and begin the integration process." Cole stood proudly, his chest swelling with confidence. "I will take my finest warriors and our most impressive ship. These humans will be honored to join our great galactic family." The council session ended with discussions about which agricultural worlds would be suitable for human colonization. The representatives spoke confidently about relocating Earth's population to controlled environments where they could be properly managed. As the meeting broke up, none of them paid attention to a small detail buried in Dr. Rin's report. The scientist had detected unusual energy signatures from Earth's major cities, but had dismissed them as primitive nuclear technology. The report mentioned extensive underground networks and unexplained thermal readings. But these details seemed unimportant for such a backward species. 3 days later, Ambassador Cole's ship, the Star Crusher, departed for Earth. The vessel was a standard diplomatic craft, armed with basic defensive systems and carrying 30 Thek warriors. In the galaxy, this represented overwhelming force compared to anything a primitive world could possess. The journey through hyperspace took 2 weeks. During the trip, Cole studied the human data files with growing confidence. Everything confirmed his initial assessment. This would be the easiest diplomatic mission of his career. As the Star Crusher dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system, Cole prepared his standard integration speech. He had given similar speeches to dozens of primitive species, and the words always worked perfectly. But as his ship's sensors swept the system, something unexpected appeared on the displays. The pilot's voice carried a note of confusion. "Commander, we're detecting multiple artificial objects throughout the system." Cole frowned. The reports had mentioned only a few primitive satellites. "And sir," the pilot continued, "we're receiving a transmission." The welcome committee. The transmission crackled through the Star Crusher's communication system with crystal clarity. A human voice spoke in measured, professional tones. "Unknown vessel. This is Earth Defense Command. You have entered restricted space. Please state your intentions and maintain your current position." Ambassador Cole laughed, a sound that echoed through the bridge. "They think they can give orders to the Galactic Council." He turned to his crew. "Put me through to their primitive communication system." The main view screen flickered to life, showing a human face. The being appeared young by galactic standards, with short dark hair and steady eyes. He wore what appeared to be a military uniform. "I am Ambassador Cole of the Galactic Council," Cole announced in his most impressive voice. "I come bearing the great honor of welcoming your species into our galactic civilization." The human's expression did not change. "I am Commander Blake of Earth Defense Command. You did not answer my question. What are your intentions in our system?" Cole's confidence wavered slightly. Most primitive species reacted with awe and terror when first contacted by the Galactic Council. This human seemed remarkably calm. "Your species has been selected for integration into our galactic community," Cole explained patiently. "We offer you protection, advanced technology, and the chance to contribute to galactic civilization through agricultural production." Commander Blake was quiet for a moment. "I see. And what if we decline your offer?" The question caught Cole off guard. No primitive species had ever declined the Council's generous offer. That is not typically an option. The galaxy can be dangerous for unprotected species." "We'll take our chances," Blake replied. "Please leave our system immediately." Cole's warrior instincts flared. "You do not understand the situation. We are offering you a great honor. Your alternative is to face the dangers of the galaxy alone." "We understand perfectly," Blake said calmly, "and we're telling you to leave." The transmission ended abruptly. Cole stared at the blank screen in disbelief. In his centuries of diplomatic missions, nothing like this had ever happened. "Sir," the pilot called out, "we're detecting movement throughout the system." The tactical display updated, showing dozens of objects moving toward their position. Cole studied the readings with growing confusion. The objects appeared to be spacecraft, but they moved in ways that should be impossible for primitive chemical rockets. "How fast are they moving?" Cole asked. "Approximately 15% of light speed, sir, and accelerating." Cole's blood ran cold. That was faster than most galactic civilian ships could travel. That's impossible. The reports said they had primitive technology. "Sir, we're receiving another transmission. Commander Blake's face appeared on the screen again. Ambassador Cole, you have 30 minutes to leave our system. This is your only warning. Warning? Cole sputtered. Do you realize who you are threatening? A Galactic Council has protected this galaxy for 10,000 years. 30 minutes. Blake repeated, and the transmission ended. Cole turned to his weapons officer. Prepare the defensive systems. Show them a demonstration of galactic technology. The Star Crusher's energy weapons charged up, creating a brilliant display of light. The ship fired a warning shot past one of the approaching human vessels. The energy beam lighting up space for thousands of kilometers got the human ship did not slow down. Sir, the pilot's voice was now distinctly nervous. The lead human vessel is targeting us. Impossible, Cole said. They can't even detect our shields with their primitive sensors. The tactical display suddenly filled with red warning indicators. The human ship had locked onto them with targeting systems that were somehow more advanced than anything in the Star Crusher's database. Sir, they're charging weapons. Cole had faced many enemies in his long career, but he had never encountered targeting systems this sophisticated. What kind of weapons are they using? Unknown, sir. The energy signatures don't match anything in our database. The lead human ship fired. The energy beam that struck the Star Crusher was unlike anything Cole had experienced. It passed through their shields as if they didn't exist, and struck the ship's hull with surgical precision. Alarms rang throughout. The bridge. The ship's defensive systems, pride of Thok engineering, had been completely bypassed. Damage report, Cole shouted. Engines offline, sir. Weapons systems disabled. They hit us with pinpoint accuracy. Cole stared at the tactical display in shock. The humans had disabled his ship without destroying it. That level of precision required technology far beyond what the Council possessed. Commander, Blake's voice came through the communication system one final time. Ambassador Cole, you now have 10 minutes to leave our system. We have disabled your weapons and engines as a courtesy. The next shot will not be so gentle. How? Cole whispered. We've been watching you watch us for 50 years, Blake replied. Did you really think we wouldn't notice? The transmission ended, leaving Cole alone with the horrifying realization that everything the Council believed about humanity was wrong. Part 3. The real Earth Ambassador Cole's hands shook as he activated the emergency communication system. The Star Crusher drifted helplessly in space, its mighty engines silent and weapon systems destroyed by human technology that shouldn't exist. This is Ambassador Cole calling Galactic Council Emergency Command, he transmitted. I need immediate assistance. The response came quickly. Council Leader Vex's voice carried concern. Ambassador, you were not scheduled to report for another week. What is your status? The humans, Cole said, his voice barely steady. They're not what we thought. They disabled my ship with weapons that passed through our shields like they weren't. There. Silence filled the communication channel. Finally, Vex responded. That's impossible. Our data shows they have primitive technology. Our data is wrong, Cole replied. They've been watching us for 50 years. They knew we were coming. On Earth, Commander Blake sat in the underground command center that stretched for miles beneath the Colorado mountains. The facility had been built in secret over decades, hidden from the alien observers who thought they were watching a primitive world. Sir, his aide reported, the alien ship is transmitting to their homeworld. Blake nodded. Let them. It's time. The galaxy learned the truth about humanity. The command center around him buzzed with activity. Hundreds of technicians monitored displays showing the positions of human ships throughout the solar system. What the aliens had missed was that humanity's real technology was hidden. The primitive rockets they observed were decoys. The real human fleet used drives based on manipulated gravity fields, allowing them to accelerate at rates that would crush most alien species. The technology had been developed in secret facilities around the world. "Commander, the communications." Officer called out, "We're receiving a transmission from the Alien Council." Blake stood and walked to the main display. The image showed a blue-skinned alien with 4 arms, clearly the leader of whatever government had sent the diplomatic mission. "I am Council Leader Vex," the alien announced. "There has been some misunderstanding. Ambassador Cole reports that you attacked his ship unprovoked." "We gave him 30 minutes to leave our system," Blake replied calmly. "He chose to fire weapons instead. We disabled his ship in self-defense." Vex's expression showed confusion. "But you are a primitive species. How do you possess such advanced technology?" Blake smiled. "We've had a long time to develop it. You've been watching us for 50 years, but you only saw what we wanted you to see." The truth was that humanity had detected the alien observation satellites within months of their arrival. Instead of revealing themselves, human governments had worked together to create an elaborate deception. They built fake cities, staged fake conflicts, and hid their real technology underground. "This is impossible," Vex said. "Our sensors would have detected advanced technology." "Your sensors detected exactly what we wanted them to detect," Blake explained. "We've been studying your technology from the beginning. Those observation satellites you planted? We've been examining them for decades." The alien's face showed dawning horror. "You reverse-engineered our technology?" "We improved it," Blake corrected. "Your weapons are designed to penetrate shields like yours. They're useless against our defensive systems." What Blake didn't mention was that human engineers had spent decades not just copying alien technology, but understanding why it worked. They had discovered principles of physics that the aliens used, but didn't fully understand. Human improvements had made their technology superior to anything in the galaxy. "What do you want?" Vex asked. "Nothing from you," Blake replied. "We want to be left alone." "That's not possible. You're now part of the galactic community. There are protocols, procedures." "Your protocols assume we're weak and primitive," Blake interrupted. "We're neither. We don't need your protection, and we don't want your management." On the alien ship, Ambassador Cole watched the conversation with growing dread. He had spent his entire career believing that the Galactic Council was the supreme power in the galaxy. The idea that a species could exist independently was terrifying. "If you won't join the Council," Vex said, "then you're a threat to galactic peace." Blake's expression hardened. "We're only a threat to those who threaten us. Leave us alone, and we'll leave you alone." "I'm afraid that's not acceptable," Vex replied. "The Council cannot allow an uncontrolled species to exist in the galaxy." The transmission ended abruptly. Blake turned to his staff. "Well, that went about as expected. Send the message to all human colonies." "Sir?" the communications officer asked. "It's time to show them what we've really been building out here." Throughout the solar system, human ships that had been hidden in asteroid belts and behind planetary bodies began to move. The aliens had been watching Earth, but they had missed the colonies on Mars, the mining stations in the asteroid belt, and the massive shipyards hidden on the far side of the moon that Ambassador Cole watched in horror as his ship's sensors detected. Dozens, then hundreds of human vessels emerging from hiding. Each one was larger and more advanced than anything in the Galactic Council's fleet. "How many ships do they have?" he whispered. The answer came from his pilot, voice filled with terror. "Sir, we're detecting over 300 vessels, and they're all more advanced than anything in our database." Cole realized that humanity hadn't just been hiding their technology. They had been preparing for war. Part 4. The Council's Emergency. Emergency session of the Galactic Council convened within hours of Ambassador Cole's report. The great crystal chamber filled with representatives from every member world. their faces showing various expressions of concern, confusion, and fear. Council leader Vex stood at the center, his forearms gesturing as he addressed the assembly. We face an unprecedented situation. The humans of Earth have revealed themselves to be far more advanced than our intelligence suggested. Dr. Rin, the chief scientist, activated the holographic display. Instead of showing primitive humans walking through their cities, the display now showed sleek spacecraft moving through space with impossible speed and grace. These are the real human ships, Dr. Rin explained, her compound eyes reflecting the light. They have been hidden from our sensors for decades. Our analysis suggests their technology is several centuries more advanced than our own. The chamber erupted in voices of disbelief. Ambassador Tall of the Trading Federation stood up. This is impossible. We've been monitoring them for 50 years. They've been monitoring us for 50 years, Vex replied grimly. Ambassador Cole reports that they knew about our observation satellites from the beginning. Everything we observed was carefully staged. Senior Advisor Moore, the eldest member of the council, spoke from his position of honor. I warned against making assumptions. We have encountered something unprecedented in our history. Ambassador Cole's image appeared on the communication screen. His proud warrior bearing was gone, replaced by obvious fear. Council leader, the humans have over 300 ships in their system. Each one is more advanced than our best battle cruisers. What are their intentions? Asked Ambassador Nira of the Peaceful Vel. They want to be left alone, Cole replied. They refuse to join the council, can reject our authority completely. This statement caused an uproar throughout the chamber. In 10,000 years of galactic civilization, no species had ever refused to join the council. The system had always worked perfectly. That's unacceptable, declared General Carr of the military caste. The council cannot allow an uncontrolled species to exist. It would undermine everything we've built. What do you suggest? Vex asked. Our strongest ship was disabled by a single human vessel. The truth was becoming clear to everyone present. The Galactic Council had built its authority on the assumption that they possessed the most advanced technology in the galaxy. If that assumption was wrong, everything changed. We need to understand how they achieved this level of technology, Dr. Rin said. No species has ever advanced this quickly without galactic guidance. The answer came from an unexpected source. Ambassador Cole's voice carried a note of admiration despite his fear. They told me they've been studying our technology for decades. But they didn't just copy it. They improved it. Improved it? Dr. Rin's eyes widened. That should be impossible. Our technology represents 10,000 years of development. The human commander said we used technology without fully understanding it, Cole continued. They claim to have discovered principles of physics that we missed. The implications of this statement hit the council like a physical blow. If humanity had advanced beyond galactic scientific knowledge, they represented not just a military threat, but a fundamental challenge to the council's authority. We need to contact them again, Vex decided. Perhaps we can negotiate some kind of agreement. The communication system activated, showing Commander Blake's face. The human appeared calm and professional, completely unimpressed by the assembled. Might of the Galactic Council. Commander Blake, Vex began, we need to discuss your species' place in the galaxy. Our place is wherever we choose to be, Blake replied simply. We don't need your permission or your approval. You don't understand, Vex said desperately. But Galaxy has rules, systems, protocols that have maintained peace for millennia. Your protocols work because everyone agrees to follow them, Blake pointed out. We never agreed to anything. General Carr stepped forward, his warrior instincts taking over. If you won't join the council, then you're a threat to galactic security. We have the right to defend ourselves. Blake's expression didn't change. General, you're welcome to try. But understand that we've been preparing for this conversation for 50 years. Preparing how? Dr. Rin asked, her scientific curiosity overriding her fear. We've been building ships, developing weapons, and establishing colonies, Blake explained. Earth isn't our only world anymore. We have settlements throughout this region of space. The display screen split to show multiple star systems. In each one, human ships and stations appeared, previously hidden from galactic sensors. Impossible, whispered Ambassador Tall. We monitor all space travel in this sector. You monitor all space travel using your technology, Blake corrected. We developed different methods. The truth was staggering. While the Galactic Council had been watching Earth, humanity had been expanding throughout their local region of space. They had built an interstellar civilization right under the Council's nose. What do you want? Vex asked finally. We want to be left alone to develop. As we choose, Blake replied. We don't want to conquer anyone or destroy anything. We just want independence. That's not how the galaxy works, General Carr protested. It's how it's going to work now, Blake said firmly. The choice is yours, Council Leader. You can accept that humanity exists as an independent civilization, or you can try to force us to submit. The transmission ended, leaving the Council in stunned silence. For the first time in their history, they faced a species that was not only unwilling to join their system, but capable of enforcing their independence. The age of unquestioned galactic authority was over. A new galaxy 6 months after first contact, the Galactic Council chambers felt different. The confident atmosphere that had dominated for centuries was gone, replaced by uncertainty and careful consideration of every word. Council Leader Vex stood before the Assembly, addressing an issue that would have been unthinkable a year ago. We are here to discuss the formal recognition of the Human Federation as an independent galactic power. The phrase independent galactic power was new to the Council's vocabulary. For 10,000 years, there had been only one power in the galaxy, the Council itself. Now they faced a reality they had never imagined. Ambassador Cole returned from his diplomatic mission, provided the latest intelligence. The humans have revealed 47 colony worlds and over 2,000 ships. Their technology continues to advance at rates we cannot match. Dr. Rin added her scientific analysis. They have shared some of their theoretical physics with you as a gesture of goodwill. Their understanding of dimensional mechanics and energy manipulation is centuries ahead of our own. The gesture of goodwill had been humanity's way of proving they were not a threat to galactic civilization. Rather than hoarding their advances, they had offered to share knowledge that could benefit all species. What are their demands? Asked Ambassador Nira. They don't have demands, Cole replied. They want formal recognition of their independence and the right to expand into unclaimed space. In exchange, they offer to respect existing Council territory and share beneficial technology. The offer was unprecedented. No species had ever negotiated with the Council as equals. The humans weren't asking for permission. They were offering cooperation. Senior Advisor Moore, who had lived through the Council's entire history, spoke slowly. Perhaps it is time to admit that our system was never designed for this situation. We created the Council to manage primitive species and maintain peace. But what do we do when we encounter a species that doesn't need management? The question hung in the air. The Council's entire purpose had been to guide and protect lesser species. If those species could become more advanced than the Council itself, what was the Council's role? We adapt, Vex said finally. We have ruled through strength and superior technology. Now we must learn to lead through cooperation and wisdom. The vote was closer than anyone expected. Traditional Council members wanted to maintain the old system, while progressives recognized that the galaxy had changed forever. In the end, practical concerns won out. The humans had proven they couldn't be conquered, so they had to be accepted. The formal recognition ceremony took place 3 months later. Commander Blake, now promoted to Admiral, stood before the Council as humanity's official representative. "Today marks a new chapter in galactic history," Vex announced. "The Council recognizes the Human Federation as an independent galactic power with full rights to self-determination." Blake accepted the recognition with grace, but his words carried a warning. "We hope this leads to a new era of cooperation between all species. But make no mistake, we will defend our independence if necessary." The ceremony concluded with the signing of the Galactic Independence Accords, the first treaty in Council history that recognized another power as an equal. But the real changes were already happening throughout the galaxy. News of humanity's technology had spread to every world. Other species began to question why they needed Council protection, when clearly it was possible to surpass Council capabilities. The Vel were the first to approach humanity directly, seeking technological assistance for their own colonies. The Thak, despite their warrior culture, requested help with defensive technologies. Even the peaceful agricultural worlds began to ask questions about their restricted development. Dr. Rin, now part of a joint Human Galactic Research Council, made a discovery that changed everything. "The humans were right about our technology," she announced to the Council. "We've been using principles we inherited from our predecessors without understanding them. There are entire fields of physics we never explored." The revelation was shocking. The Council had been building on technologies developed by ancient species, never pushing beyond what they had inherited. Humanity, starting from scratch, had been forced to understand everything they built. "What does this mean for the future?" Vex asked. "It means the galaxy is about to change dramatically," Dr. Rin replied. "If we work together, we can achieve things none of us thought possible." Admiral Blake, attending the meeting via hologram, nodded in agreement. "We never wanted to dominate the galaxy. We wanted to explore it, understand it, and help it grow." The transformation was gradual but inevitable. Species that had been restricted to agricultural worlds began developing their own technologies. The Council evolved from a ruling body into a coordinating organization. Trade networks expanded, research partnerships formed, and exploration missions pushed into previously unknown regions of space. The humans had done more than refuse to join the galactic system. They had fundamentally changed what the galactic system could be. 5 years after first contact, Vex stood in the Council chambers, now expanded to accommodate dozens of new independent species. The old Crystal Hall had been replaced with a vast space station where equals met to discuss cooperation rather than subjects receiving orders. "The galaxy is larger than we ever imagined," he said in his address to the Assembly. "We thought we knew everything there was to know. The humans taught us that there is always more to learn." Admiral Blake, now a permanent member of the expanded Council, smiled. "This is just the beginning. The galaxy is full of wonders we haven't even discovered yet." The age of galactic domination was over. The age of galactic cooperation had begun. And in the depths of space, human ships continued to push outward, exploring new worlds and meeting new species, always with the same message: the galaxy was big enough for everyone to grow. The end asterisk.